The Boston Celtics have now won 4 straight games after beating the Charlotte Hornets last night, and this extends this fantastic Celtics run to 15 wins in their last 17 games, and in my books, they've officially transformed into serious championship contenders. Jayson Tatum over his last couple of games is playing at a superstar type level, and not only has this been some of the best basketball of his entire NBA career, but it's also at a level that should be talked about as being up there with the best in the NBA right now. Tatum is absolutely in his bag, and to make matters worse for the rest of the NBA, the other guys on this team have collectively stepped up their games to the point where this Celtics team is now considered one of the best defensive teams in the league, and when you throw the Celtics in there with other contenders in the Eastern Conference, it is starting to seem more fitting the more games they play. The Celtics are inching closer and closer to a top 4 seed in the East, something that is seemingly theirs to lose with the recent struggles of the Chicago Bulls, but this recent Celtics success is something that everybody needs to pay attention to because they have evolved from a team that looked like they were playing for a play-in position earlier on in the season to now being one of the top teams in the conference. Also, only a small percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, so if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. Enjoy the video. A huge reason behind this insane turnaround of a season has been the play of Jayson Tatum. Just after having his best game of the season in an impressive win against the Brooklyn Nets, who had both Kyrie and KD in the lineup, scoring a season high of 54 points, shooting 53.3% from both the field and from 3, and he was nowhere near finishing this level of play as he scored an absurdly efficient 44 points last night. And the funny thing about this, which is also very impressive at the same time, was the fact that he managed to shoot both 66.7% from both the field and from 3, making this the second game in a row in which he accomplished identical percentages. Tatum playing at this level just makes the sky the limit for this team to close out the regular season with a top seed, and it also makes their chances of having a successful playoff run this year that much brighter of a possibility. In his last 4 games, he's been averaging 42 points, 6 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 55.8% from the field, which is just insane. When you take in he's this efficient while scoring 42 a night in that span and 46.3% from 3. Nobody has been able to stop him getting to his spot on the floor, and he has shown that he's able to dominate against strong teams as well, as the game he dropped 54 points, that was against a Nets team that I mentioned had KD and Kyrie both in the lineup, and they're kind of in a position where their backs are against the wall as they're currently just in a play-in position. If he's able to perform at this level in the playoffs, tell me why this team won't have some of the best odds to actually make a strong run, as not only has he been unstoppable offensively, he and the entire Celtics roster have been stepping up defensively, making this a picture-perfect scenario for Boston to be in. It is crystal clear that the Boston Celtics will rely heavily on their top 7 guys to close out this season, and as many people have a problem with them not having as much depth as other teams, it is something that doesn't bother me all too much, besides the fact that I think this team needs to keep the legs of those top 7 guys as fresh as possible for the playoffs, which I think they will start focusing on once they are sitting comfortably in a top playoff position. In the playoffs, benches shrink regardless of team, whether that be to 9 guys or 7. Teams want to ensure that their best of the best players are out there as much as possible to increase their chances of winning the series. This is why if this team continues to run with these 7 guys, like they've proved over the last month, they can run with any team in the league, and have honestly been doing it to a point that they've been absolutely dominating their opponents half of the time. The thing to take away from this is that playoff success most of the time runs through the team's best player, and Tatum is playing like a bona fide superstar right now. This is going to be crucial in any playoff series, to have a guy that you can rely on to take you home down the stretch late in a game, but also to just be that guy that causes problem after problem on the court that the other team needs to deal with if they want a chance to win. And Tatum has been that guy as of late and can hopefully continue to be that guy, as the Celtics most certainly need it. On top of that, they have a guy in Jaylen Brown who should have been an all-star this year, who's also fully capable to step up next to Tatum and carry the load when Tatum is having an uncharacteristic night. Brown is able to play amongst the top forwards in the league as well, very consistently averaging over 20 points a night, and is almost anything you need in a second option, being up there as an elite defender alongside Tatum as well. Robert Williams is becoming more of a weapon by the day the more games he plays in, as in last night's game, the Celtics had 9 offensive rebounds in just the first quarter, and 6 of them were grabbed by Williams himself. He and Horford have just constantly been such underrated anchors, both defensively and on the glass, both having monster games on those ends, as Williams had 2 blocks and a steal, while Horford managed to rack up 3 steals of his own. This has brought Robert Williams up to 2.2 blocks a game on the year, which is now tied with Jaren Jackson Jr. and Rudy Gobert for leading the league in blocks per game. The impact that these two create at that side of the ball just carries into everyone else's game, knowing that they have 2 guys in the paint that do whatever it takes to make it as difficult as possible to score down low. And then lastly, Marcus Smart, Derek White, and Grant Williams all seemingly had very solid nights as well. Smart and White combined for 17 assists with just 1 turnover. Derek White had a phenomenal game defensively with 3 blocks and 2 steals, and then Grant Williams came off the bench, facilitated on the glass while grabbing a block and a steal of his own. Outside of Tatum, offensively, this team isn't doing eye-popping numbers individually, but this is why the team is having so much success as of late over the start of the season. The storyline for this team has been their ability to buy into this team's new team-oriented style of play that saw the Celtics rack up their 10th game of 30 or more assists as a team, and in those 10 games, they are now 9-1, so they basically know exactly what they need to do collectively to come away with wins, and that is simply to spread the ball around the court. Even without Tatum playing this hot on the floor, the Celtics still managed to have plenty of success with this style of play, so it tells me that even without Tatum balling like a superstar, this team can still pull off strong performances, and everything that Tatum has been able to give this team is just an added bonus that I'm sure not a single Celtics fan is complaining about. It's truly awesome to see this team so locked into all playing their own separate roles, and the way it's all coming together is making this team get the respect that they truly deserve. It's hard to argue if any team is playing at a higher level than these guys right now, and it couldn't have come at a better time. This is looking like one of the better teams the Celtics have produced over the years with Tatum and Brown as a duo, and I'm sure both of these guys could not be hungrier to go on another run and try to make it to their first ever NBA Finals. The East is decently wide open this year, with no true team looking like they're going to take it home in the playoffs, and obviously it's going to take absolutely phenomenal performances from these guys if they want to make it far, but I'm confident this team has the ability to do so. Let me know what you think is going to be the key to a Celtics playoff run, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like to help this video get shared across YouTube's algorithm, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more NBA videos like this one that I will be posting multiple times per week. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great night.